but he did dip and dabble with Roger a few times. Now, if he's presented himself as a heterosexual to you, but then it turns out that he's actually somebody who's gone a different direction, and this is no shade to the LGBTQ community and none of that. We're just talking about the fact that if somebody's presented himself a certain way, but that ex brought that information up, and
if it's something you need to know, then that should be first and foremost. If it's something detrimental, which that could be detrimental to your health, that definitely could be. Now, I'm not saying that that's something that, you know, that community has that nobody else has. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying because there are people that are safe. There are people that do things in a safe way. That is 100% a thing. But at the same time, if you are in that situation where you don't know and somebody knows and they come to you and say, hey, yo, this is how your boy used to be. So if I were you, I would be cautious or I would have that conversation. That's totally different.
Okay, so you saying it's the way that they come to you about the information?
Yeah, if a person is trying to be a good person and trying to give you that information just to be, you know, a good lookout or somebody trying to be helpful to you, that's one thing. It's another thing altogether to try to do something to sabotage somebody or to try to be hateful to somebody. Those are two separate issues altogether.
Okay, so what Irv Gotti is doing with Ashanti, the whole situation with Ashanti, let's talk about that real quick. Because is it relevant that he brought it up? And this has been 20 some years ago, and this is a documentary apparently that he's doing, and just using this situation, you bringing up something from 20 years ago. It's not detrimental to my health. It's not doing anything to, you know, let somebody know it, you know, like if I was dabbling in cross-dressing or if I was dabbling in I used to be a man and now I'm not, or something like that. You know, it's nothing like that.
That's important. If you were born a dude, that is important.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm saying it's not. I'm saying it's not that. This is just relationship stuff, right? So is relationship stuff a?
So refresh us on what he actually said. Refresh us on what he actually said.
I don't know. I don't know the exact thing of what he said.
That he slept with Ashanti and how they hooked up. Like what relevance does it have to do with anything?
Okay.
You gotta, wait,
this whole time you were married. This whole time, but you villainizing her in the news.
Yeah, right, but you gotta realize something. We can't really. I understand we're trying to have a legitimate conversation about this whole point about, like, you know, kissing and telling, and, you know, obviously doing it to, you know, trying to hurt somebody else. You gotta realize we are talking about a celebrity who's basically trying to use this to promote or use the controversy to sell whatever documentary he got going on. So it's a self-promotion thing. This isn't just some guy who's bringing up some shit about some girl. This is literally, like you said, Irv Gotti bringing up some shit about Ashanti, because obviously those two names will pop in people's minds. That's the only reason.
It is, Adam. But the thing is, it brings up a good point, because we're trying to understand, like, okay, is there a statute of limitations when it comes to bringing up old shit about a relationship? When is it not okay, or when is it where you cock block, and when does that line get drawn there? Where do you say, you know what, this ain't it? Or have you been in a situation yourself where you told your homeboy about maybe it's a girl that he messing with, and Steve, you definitely can chime in too, because we got some new people here. We want to let them chime in as well, because James and Adam, I know y'all be regular contributors, but let somebody else talk, motherfucker. Let somebody else talk.
I honestly never said anything to a friend that I didn't feel like was helpful. Like, I didn't say some shit to try to cock block him, but I mean, like, you know, if my guy's doing something and, you know, he's with somebody who, quote unquote, has a history, or who's done something, I'd be like, hey, you know, just so you know, this girl did X, Y, Z. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say. You know, but it's not to try and, like, hurt him. That's my boy, or that's a guy. Like, I'm not gonna go on my way to ever talk to a guy who I'm not friends with to try and fuck with him to try to get. Like, you know, I don't play that mind game shit. I don't. I'm gonna tell you because you're my friend, and I feel like you need to know because you don't know.
Okay. So He done hopped off. Something must have happened. Okay. So, James, is there a topic that should not be brought up when we're talking about kiss and tell? Is there something that should just not be ever brought up when we're talking about that kind of scenario?
It really depends on the situation, because if I'm just just talking to my homeboy about, hey, I did such and such with Shorty, we did XYZ, that's one thing. Or you got, hey man, I know you talking to this girl, but I seen her, running through, half the football team. That's totally different. Like,
right, me and my boys ran a train on it. I know personally. You know what?
Yeah, like it totally depends. Like, like, hey, I was number 6. Like that
Exactly.
that could be an issue. But
Okay.
if it's, you just talking to be talking, or you're like, hey, yo, like my Tuesday, this week she was wilding, like we did XYZ. Like, that's totally different. But
Okay.
if I was bringing up something like, yo, me and Miss Pleasure Palace, she showed me, the merchandise. That's like, you're like, yo, like, dude, like, I don't need to know that. Like, that's
she showed you the dang.
the
I was trying to go there. No, I was trying to plug the damn it. She showed you the bedroom candy.
She showed me some bedroom candy that I was like, oh my God, it blew my mind.
Okay. All right. So Brandy, let's talk about that. Have you, for a girl, okay, because when the situation is kiss and tell for a girl, for a woman, let me say it like that, for a woman, is it ever a situation where we have to be like, you know what, that's borderline, hey, like your ex-husband or ex-boyfriend, that he did some wild shit, or he did some stuff or whatever, maybe he cheated on you or something like that and did some crazy stuff, and you let the next girl know, now